So thank you. Let me begin by saying something about the importance of conversation in my life. Teilhard Chardin coined the term the noosphere to describe the mental sheath similar to the biosphere that he felt was formed by the kinds of inward work we each do and expressed through the dialogues we have with each other. And I saw this as a really explanatory way to hold my own experience. I think I've always held conversation as sacred. Those who know me know that I can also be quite silly, I can be quite dark, but behind that is the sense that each time we enter into a deeper conversation with each other, we're contributing to the larger thought forms around the globe. And that has been my experience, that no conversation when held in deep trust is wasted, that it all is part of creating the ecology of thought and developing new thought forms. And so those 5 conditions you see, which is a distillation of our original research from the Collective Wisdom Initiative, is, I think, a way of capturing some of the things that allow us to contribute to the noosphere. And that it begins with deep listening. It begins with listening with the intention that the other person feels seen, that we're listening for what's said and unsaid, and that we're bringing our whole self into that conversation. And to do that requires a discipline, which is, since we all have certain assumptions and preconditions and cognitive frameworks, that we actually pay attention to how we suspend our certainty, how we suspend our initial thoughts about what is correct or right or proper, leaving room for something new to emerge. And in doing that, we begin to see more of each other and, by extension, more of the larger system that we're part of. And so rather than viewing conversations as trying to find agreement or trying to find debate, what we're trying to do is see how we represent thought within a larger system, and that our work is always extending out the boundaries of understanding the system and larger system that we're in. David Bohm, contributes the idea that thought is not fragmented but whole. And so this idea of bringing in diversity is not to simply be left with fragments, but to see that the whole is made up of these distinctive parts. And so when we come together, we come with an intention. We gather for group emergence. We allow the elements that we represent to come together in new ways. And emergence, from its scientific background, is that that what appears in the whole is distinct from the components. That when you look at the chemistry of sugar, no element of sugar is sweet, but sugar as a composite of those elements has a sweetness to it. And that is what one hopes in groups, that we can see an emergent quality of affection, of sweetness, of new knowledge. But to do that requires, again, great discipline, because disturbances will happen, fractures will happen. No one who works in the intimacy of small groups, especially over time, we know that we hit our darkest places. We know there are fractures in relationships. And so one doesn't cancel out the other. The fact that groups can also be the places for conflict can be seen as part of the larger work of achieving wholeness. And with that is that trust in the extraordinary, that what emerges is beyond our current understanding, that we can really begin to welcome what arises amongst us. And we resist the normative values that would tell us that we can't think and create new ways of being together.